Hey, what's up, everybody? Today we're going to take a look at my 5 pet cats for the NFL draft. I can tell you right now that of this list, 2 of these guys, the Cowboys have been rumored, okay, to have met with virtually. Now, I'm not going to say which 2 they are yet because I don't feel 100% confident in my sources, but there are 2 of these guys that are rumored to have met with the Cowboys virtually. But we will discuss all of these players. These are my top 5 pet cats. So without further ado, let's get into this. One more time. Here we go. Boom. One more time. Boom. All right. So these are 5 players of mine that I really like. You know, and a lot of these guys, I'm kind of looking more outside of the first round. All of these guys are, well, actually, maybe one of these guys might be in the first round, but a lot of these guys, second, third, you know, and a little bit further on. But these are pet cat players for me that I believe the Cowboys have interest in, and some of these players that they could help the Cowboys for the 2021 season. And I'm going to break down how that can happen. Okay, so my first player on my list is going to be Robert Hainsey, the offensive tackle out of Notre Dame. 6'5", 300 pounds. Okay, so what I like about Robert Hainsey is he gives you the position flex. He's a right tackle at Notre Dame, but he can give you guard. And I think he might project as a guard at the NFL, but he can, you know, it's really going to come down to what team drafts this player. You know, he does really good in the run blocking, pass blocking. Now, the thing that I kind of find myself struggling with is the agility and the athleticism for Robert Hainsey, the lateral movement, his feet. You know, you do see a little bit of, when you're looking at more of an elite tackle, like somebody like a Tyron Smith, or one of these types of, or like a Laramie Tunsil, one of these guys. You know, you look at that kick back, you look at the feet, and these types of things. But Robert Hainsey, for me, you know, he's a mauler. He'll get busy in the run game. He'll maul you up, and you know he will finish his tackles, his blocks. I mean, and you know, part of the reason why Notre Dame has been successful over the last 2 seasons, especially this last season, was that offensive line. It held up. They opened up a lot of holes for the running game. They shredded a lot of teams this season. Okay, and they gave Ian Book a lot of time to dissect these defenses. You know, we saw what they did with Clemson, not so much the second time around, but you know, this offensive line, these guys at Notre Dame, they are pro ready. That's why I'm looking at Robert Hainsey, I'm looking at Liam Eichenberg, I'm looking at Aaron Banks. These guys are going to play for teams in the NFL. They'll be playing on Sundays. Okay, so keep an eye on that one there. My next player here is going to be Isaiah McDuffie, linebacker out of Boston College, 6'1", 224 pounds. You know, when I start looking at linebackers, you know, we've all seen all the names that have been recycled over and over as far as like, you know the names. So what I'm looking at is some linebackers a little bit further down who could give the Cowboys some value, because you know, this is what the Cowboys do. If they don't take one early, look in the 3rd, 5th round, somewhere like that. I think this is where you could land a player like Isaiah McDuffie. And what I like about this player is he's a converted safety. Okay, so he's a converted safety to linebacker. And what is good about this is the athleticism, the burst. You see it when he recognizes the runs, seek and strike. There's no hesitation when he goes to tackle. He can give you flex at the Sam position. He can rush the quarterback. He can play well. He can cover, obviously, because like I said, he does have safety in his background, so he can cover these tight ends. You can put him out in the flat. You can put him out in the slot if you need to, and he'll take care of business. Now, he's a solid tackler. This is what I really like about Isaiah McDuffie. The only ding on him is he did have a knee injury in 2019 that kept him out a big part of the season, but bounced back in 2020, fully recovered, fully ready to go. And he had a great season. He had a great bounce back season. So Isaiah McDuffie, I like what he does in run support, pressure the quarterback. And, you know, obviously people are not talking about him because they haven't gotten to this part of, you know, your linebackers where you're looking outside of the names that you're hearing about right now. So right here in March, as we get closer to April, this is where I try to dig a little bit deeper into the prospects. Keep an eye out on Isaiah McDuffie. He is a player that should be on a lot of teams' radar. Okay, so he has a lot of the intangibles that you're looking for. I think if they had the combine, he would test really well. The back pedal is good. The back pedal when the play is taking place, he's got the back pedal and then burst forward and make a tackle. Okay, so you see these types of plays, and you see a linebacker that can move. When you think about like a Jalen Smith, unfortunately, that change of direction is really what I'm talking about. Isaiah McDuffie has this because he's got that safety background, and he'll hit you. He'll hit you like a ton of bricks, and he's a great tackler. So keep an eye on Isaiah McDuffie, linebacker out of Boston College. My next prospect on my pet cat list, Tommy Tremble, the tight end out of Notre Dame. Okay, now some people might be saying, "Oh, we're not gonna take tight end. We're not gonna," but yet you do have people that want to look at Kyle Pitts and these types of things. There's always an excuse for somebody not wanting to draft a player or a position. Now, what I will tell you this is Tommy Tremble, if you're looking at upgrading the number 3 tight end position, because the Cowboys used 3 tight ends. You had a Blake Jarwin, you had Dalton Schultz, who had a breakout season, and I expect him to have another breakout. So to me, Dalton Schultz is your number 1 until, otherwise. I mean, Blake Jarwin has to show that he can come back from injury and can contribute. He's going to have to knock off the rust and this type of thing. Blake Bell. Okay, Tommy Tremble is an upgrade over Blake Bell. And if you're looking at, upgrading that number 3 and somebody that can slide in 2022, because I don't know if you're going to be able to keep Dalton Schultz. If he performs like he does again, he's gonna demand a good market. Okay, and we know the Cowboys are not going to franchise tag a tight end. So unless they strike a deal, maybe possibly this off season, they extend him. That's a possibility. But if not, you're going to have a hole there. Tommy Tremble is a blocking behemoth. Okay? He's 6'4", 248 pounds. He's like an H-back, tight end. This guy, he's really good in the run game. And like I said, another reason why Notre Dame had so much success this season is this blocking. He's a road grader. I mean, he's gonna chew you up and spit you out. I mean, he'll come up and hit you, and he will catch the ball. He's got great hands. Okay, he's gonna pluck the ball out of the air. He's not a body catcher, so he'll catch the ball in stride. And a lot of the times, these defenses, they were sleeping on him, and he would hit him really hard with a great catch in the seam, up the middle, on different route trees. So he's well rounded. Obviously, if you go down and nitpick at the stats, they're not gonna be big. You're gonna look at the stats and be like, oh, there's not that much. But you look at Cole Kmet. This is who he's replacing. Cole Kmet had a relatively good rookie season, for the Bears. And for me, Tommy Tremble, this guy is gonna be somebody for somebody's team. He is gonna be kind of like Golden Tate was when he came out of Notre Dame. Not many people had Golden Tate on their radar. And he turned out to be a really, really good wide receiver in NFL. Did really good things there for Seattle in his prime. And I feel like this is the career arc for Tommy Tremble. Somebody that has a lot of these traits at the collegiate level. Great blocker. Yeah, he's gonna boost your running game, and he's gonna be a weapon in the passing game. He's well rounded, and watch out for him. Go check him out. He's a good one there. My number 4 pet cat on my list is going to be Tevin Jenkins, the offensive tackle out of Oklahoma State. 6'6", 310 pounds. All right, so came in as a freshman out of Oklahoma State. Pretty much won the position as a freshman. He has an interesting story. He has an interesting background. It's kind of similar to Dak Prescott and that sort of thing. So you have a young man here who has gone through some things and has really put everything... he's put everything into his craft in honor of his mother. I guess you could say that. So go research his background there. Well-rounded player on the field and off the field. But on the field, This guy's a mauler. Okay, if you're looking for some more tenacious players on that offensive line, if you feel like Connor Williams is a little too finesse, which I do, I think he's too finesse. You could look at, putting him at guard. Some teams may look at Tevin Jenkins as a guard. Some may want to keep him there at tackle. I mean, he performed well at tackle. Now, similarly to Robert Hainsey, which I talked about in my first pet cat, the athleticism and the feet are not quite there. So you do have some issues with speed rushers. But that's with a lot of these guys. I mean, we've seen it with Tyron Smith have issues with speed rushers. We've seen it with Lyle Collins, kind of lunging and having issues with these sorts of things. So nobody has ever a perfect offensive tackle in that regard. Some people may want to ding him on his arm length. I think he's fine there. But like I said, really good in pass blocking, run blocking. He's probably your number one finishing offensive lineman. Okay, whistle to whistle. He will. You'll see this guy blocking people down the field. He'll take on one block, get to the second level, block the heck out of another guy. He's like a wrecking ball. He'll block one guy into another player that's behind like a linebacker. So he is really he's a good product, and I think the ceiling is high for a player like Tevin Jenkins. I think you're just scratching the surface because 2020 is his breakout season. Okay, he's a guy that has an ascending career in college, but you look at the 2020 season, what he did. I like what he did against Oklahoma. You have some players that are being considered draftable from Oklahoma, Perkins and some of these other guys. For the most part, he held his own and did really well against good competition. Okay, going back to freshman season. So I like Tevin Jenkins a lot. He's a pet cat of mine. Are the Cowboys in the offensive line business? Absolutely. Okay. They got a good look at Terrence Steele. Okay. Whether we liked how he played or not, they got a good look at him. Will he improve in year 2? Probably. But, he's still to me more of a backup player. He could be a pretty decent backup, but for me, I'd rather have somebody like a Tevin Jenkins, somebody that's going to play really well for you for a long time. You're going to get 2 contracts out of this player, and he gives you that flex. We saw what the Cowboys had to do this season. They ended up flexing out Zach Martin to tackle at one point. Okay, you get that kind of flexibility with Tevin Jenkins. If you want to replace Connor Williams with Tevin Jenkins at left guard, and then move him over to left tackle if something happens to Tyron Smith, if that back doesn't hold up or the neck, and it won't. I'm sorry to say it, but it's not. The days of Tyron Smith finishing a whole season uninjured, they're just going downhill. Will he even play 8 games this season? We'll see, hopefully, but let's be real about this, okay? And then for Lyle Collins, the way the Cowboys set up that contract after this season, if they don't like what they see out of Lyle Collins, if he shows up again out of shape or whatever it was, they have that club option, so they can get out of this, and then boom, there you go. You have Tevin Jenkins, a mauler. You're ready to rock and roll. Okay, so keep an eye on Tevin Jenkins. My 5th and final pet cat is going to be Javonte Williams, the running back out of North Carolina. 5'10", 220 pounds. Where I saw this guy was when LT broke him down in the NFL Network a couple of weeks ago, actually. And the one thing that I really love about LaDainian Tomlinson is when he breaks down running backs. I like all of the other draft nicks, a lot of the draft community when they talk about running backs, but there has always been something about LT's evaluation, and I really do value that. I mean, he's one of the best to play the position, and I think he has a keen eye for running backs. So when he talks about running backs, I listen. And he's been right the last couple seasons in these running backs that he's broken down. And when he talked about Javonte Williams, I went back and looked at him. I like what I see. He's got the burst. He has home run ability when you give him the ball. And he will block. I won't say that his pass blocking is anywhere like Ezekiel Elliott, but he's not going to be a liability in pass blocking. If you put him in there and passing downs, you'll be okay. That's what they did at North Carolina. You see it when you look at his tape. He's there in passing downs, and he will get in there into the gaps and take on a linebacker. He'll get in the way, and this types of things. So Javonte Williams, he can catch the ball out of the backfield on screens wheel routes, whatever you want him to do, and the breakaway speed. You know, yeah, we do have Tony Pollard in here, okay, but we're talking year 3 already for Pollard. You already have to start getting ready. And can you upgrade over Rico Dowdle? Yes, and that's what Javonte Williams is, okay? Like I've always said, you don't want to settle on any of the positions on this team, okay? Where would you take somebody like a Javonte Williams? You know, I've heard and seen some estimations he could go 2nd round, 3rd, or 4th. So, you know, don't discount any of these players, any of these positions for the Cowboys. We've seen them go the opposite route of what fans want. Okay, every time we think we want this, Cowboys turn around and draft a different player, a different position, and we kind of just have to roll with it and hope for the best. But these are my 5 pet cats, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments about these players. Let me know your 5 pet cats in the comments. I do appreciate everybody in the community. I appreciate all your input on your guys. So make sure you reply with your 5. And shout out to all my subscribers. Shout out to all of my members. Can't do this without you. Pound that like button. Pound it, pound it, pound it. It helps out the channel immensely. And that's all I have, guys. I'll catch you for the next video. Peace.